What's up everyone, welcome to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be going over Google Ads audience targeting and everything you need to know about targeting audiences for your search, display, and video campaigns. So I'm going to get started by creating a new campaign to go over exactly how it works. And what I'm going to do is just pretend I'm going to create a new display campaign so I can go through all of the different audiences that you can target with your advertisements. So we're going to click on display here. You can choose one of your conversion goals, but we don't really need to worry about that too much here. You can enter your website, name your campaign, and we're going to click on continue, which will bring us to the new campaign screen. So it's going to start with location and language targeting, which will also make up your audience, where they're located, and the languages that your customers speak. So you always want to start with the locations you're targeting, and you want to enter your language targeting as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to come down here to targeting, and you're going to see first, optimized targeting is set up for you. So this is fairly new in Google Ads, where what you can do is opt into optimized targeting, which allows you to get more conversions by using information like your landing page, your assets, all the information Google Ads has about what you're trying to target, where you're sending traffic to, and what your ads look like. They're going to use that to try to find more conversions for you. So what we're going to do here is we're going to click on add targeting, and down here at the bottom, you're going to see keywords, topics, and placements. I just went through this in my previous video where I went over Google Ads content targeting. So if you want more information about keywords, topics, and placements, you can find it at that video. I will link it in the video description so you can easily find it. But what we're going to do is we're going to start here with demographics, because that also includes some of the different audience targeting that you can use. And then where we're going to spend most of our time is with audience segments. So we're going to start with demographics. Pretty self-explanatory. You can choose your targeted demographics: gender, age, parental status, and household income. So what you really want to do with this is you could either leave it wide open if you just want to reach anybody that's in your different audience segments, or what you can do is say something like, I want to reach people who are 25 to 64, so you could exclude some of these ages here, and then you're reaching people 25 to 64, maybe you want to reach parents, and maybe you want to reach females. So what you can do is choose those options as you're targeting your demographics. And then all you need to do is click on done. And then what you can do is go through and add more targeting using audience segments. And you're going to suggest who should see your ads. And it's going to layer in this demographic targeting as well. Now, in this case, I'm just going to leave it wide open as I go through some of these different examples. So we're going to check all of these again. We're going to click on done. And we have no targeted demographics now, just leaving it wide open to everybody. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over audience segments. And when you use audience segments, a lot of times it's going to opt you right into the search screen. So let's just say, for example, I want to target people who are interested in investing. What you can do is just search investing here, and it's going to come up with different audiences that you can target. You're going to see some affinity audiences. I will go through all the different audiences and what they mean in a moment, but you can target affinity audiences. You can target in-market audiences. You can target homeowners. So some different options you have here just by searching investing. So whatever it is that you are promoting, whether it's some type of investing platform, whether it's some type of food and drink product, maybe you're trying to target people who are looking for baby toys, all you need to do is enter a search term here and you're going to find some different audiences that will be relevant for your campaign. But what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this and we're going to come back over to browse, and I'm going to go through these from top to bottom. So the first thing is detailed demographics. So this one's pretty self-explanatory, who they are, and what you're going to see is from this drop-down, you can target parental status, so parents of infants, toddlers, preschoolers, grade schoolers, and teens. Come back up here, we could target marital status, so 3 options there. We can target education, so current college students, highest level of educational attainment, and you can target home ownership status. So who they are is not a bad option as far as targeting segments. Now, one thing to keep in mind, as we look over here on the right-hand side under weekly estimates, you're going to see available impressions based on your targeting and settings, but not your budget and bid. So right now it's saying we haven't really layered in any targeting at all. So our impressions is 10 billion plus. So when you start targeting segments, one thing to keep in mind is, let's say I come over here to homeownership status and I target renters. So what this is saying is anybody who rents, this is who I am targeting with my advertisements. Now, let's say I also use detailed demographics and I come over here to education and I do current college students. So right now what this is saying is I want to target either current college students or renters. So it's not layering both of these different targeting options in. If we click on done, it's going to target both of these separately. So what this means is we're targeting current college students or renters. Now, they can be current college students and renters, but the way we have this set up is we have current college students or renters. So when you're targeting segments, keep in mind it's not going to layer all of your different targeting. So if you start targeting some of these different segments and you say, okay, I want to reach people who are married, who are, let's say, parents of toddlers. So I can reach people who are married, parents of toddlers, but again, it's going to target parents of toddlers, it's going to target marital status married, it's going to target education, and it's going to target this homeownership status all separately. So all of these are 4 different audiences that will all be targeted within our campaign. So keep that in mind as you are using your targeting. So if we're going through some of these different options here, that's number 1 is detailed demographics. So you can choose a detailed demographic, but keep in mind it will be a very broad audience. So next is going to be affinity audiences, what their interests and habits are. These are also very broad audiences. I wouldn't really recommend using detailed demographics or affinity audiences if you're trying to run a direct response, you need return on ad spend, you need to drive conversions. These audiences are going to be much too broad, and I would highly recommend starting with in-market and below if you're trying to reach people and trying to drive conversions. Still might not have a positive return on ad spend with some of these different audiences because display ads do not perform as well as search ads. But as we get into affinity audiences, what their interests and habits are, if we come over here, you're going to see some broad segments. So banking and finance, we'll click on the drop down, avid investors. Now, this is people who actively invest their money, follow financial markets, and regularly read financial or business news. The thing to keep in mind here is you are targeting a broad audience of people who have shown some level of interest in investing. And that's going to go the same for every single affinity segment. If you go into beauty and wellness and you see someone who frequently visits salons, that could be a massive audience that includes all sorts of people who visit different types of salons. For example, if we scroll over here, it's going to say people who frequently visit establishments that provide beauty-related services, hair salons, nail salons, tanning salons, day spas. So if you're looking at top-related audience segments, antivirus and security software, frequently attends live events, painting services. So 3 much different categories. So when you are targeting affinity segments, keep in mind these are very, very broad segments of people. So if we come into food and dining, coffee shop regulars, cooking enthusiasts, foodies. So it might not be a bad idea. For example, you're trying to promote a fast food restaurant, you have some broad message. You can use this fast food cravers audience. For example, you're working in marketing for one of the large fast food restaurants. They have a new product out. That's where this might be a good place to actually target an affinity audience. If you are running the advertisements for a small restaurant, and let's just say the restaurant fits into a fast food category, targeting this audience is probably not going to be the best idea because you're going to have a massive audience of people, and a lot of them might have no interest in your restaurant. So keep that in mind as you do target affinity audiences. These are people with certain interests and habits, but they're going to be very broad groups. So even if you look at the sizes of some of these different audiences, let's go to lifestyles and hobbies, and let's say business professionals. Even the size of this audience here, as far as weekly impressions, ranges from 10 billion to 1 trillion. So it's a massive audience, and it's going to say people with different types of business-related jobs. So if you are trying to tap into a large, broad audience, that's where affinity audiences could come into play. I would say detailed demographics and affinity are very, very broad. You're going to have large audiences, a ton of available impressions, but what you're giving up is some of that relevancy in targeting. Now, where you're going to get better relevancy and where you're going to reach people who are closer in an actual decision-making process to purchasing something is in-market and life events, specifically more in-market audiences. So let's click over here and let's start with life events here on the bottom. You're looking at some of the biggest life events, so college graduation, job change, marriage, moving, and they all have drop downs as well. So let's just say we click on moving, you're going to see moving soon or recently moved. So if you want to try to craft a message, just moved into a new house, here are some of the best people to help with painting, with whatever it might be. Moving soon, maybe if you're a moving company, you say, have you got your move ready yet? And you have a moving company message. So that's where some of these life events can be very useful, trying to reach people as they are in the process of some of these large life events that we all go through. Now, the other option here is in-market segments, and in-market are people who are actively researching or planning some of these different categories. So for example, we'll come down and let's just say business services. We click on the drop down for business services. We click on the drop down for advertising and marketing services. You're going to see SEO and SEM services. So these are people who are actively looking for search engine optimization companies, search engine marketing companies to either help grow their brand organically or with paid advertising. You're going to see some of these top related audience segments: advertising and marketing, email marketing, temporary and seasonal jobs, top YouTube categories. You're going to see all pretty relevant for the most part. And up at the top, you'll also have a description for all of these different audiences. People who influence purchasing decisions for services that provide search engine optimization or marketing. The other thing that you're going to see is the weekly impressions for in-market segments are lower than the weekly impressions forecasted for some of the different affinity audiences, and that's because you're reaching people as they're in the process of buying something. So let's scroll down and let's come down to sports and fitness. We'll click on the drop down, let's say sporting goods, golf equipment. So somebody who is in the market for golf equipment has shown through either some of the videos they're watching, some of the websites they're visiting, some of the different things that they're searching into Google, they're showing that they have an interest in purchasing golf equipment. So if you are a company that sells new golf equipment, used golf equipment, this would be an audience to use for your campaigns and see how it performs and if you can drive conversions with an audience like this. So these are some of the different in-market audiences. The other thing you're going to see is, let's come back over here and let's do our search for investing again. So you're going to see all these different affinity audiences here that come up. The other thing you're going to see are different in-market audiences. So people looking for automated investment services, investment training, online stock trading. So I would highly recommend making a search because it's going to come up with some different in-market audiences that may not be available as you come through. Go to browse and you click on in-market and life events. They're not going to have all of these different in-market audiences there. So that's why I would recommend searching, because it's going to come up with some of these different built in-market audiences that other people are targeting that might be a little more relevant than some of the larger in-market audiences that they show just from the drop down here, where you come into your in-market and life events and you have your in-market segments drop down. There's going to be more when you actually search. So keep that in mind as you are targeting different audiences. Now, the last three here, as we come down into these different options, the one right here, how they have interacted with your business, that's going to be the best audiences that you can target. It's your data in similar segments. So if we click on the arrow to go over, similar segments are automatically created as you start creating your website visitor audiences, as you start creating your YouTube audiences, as you upload customer lists, and as you upload mobile app audiences as well. So if we start here in my website visitors audience, you're going to see all users of my website, Beachfront Decor. This is a 30-day audience. So anybody who has visited my website over the last 30 days, you could see all visitors 30 days. Now, when we come into similar segments, you're going to see similar to all users of Beachfront Decor, similar to all visitors over the last 30 days, and you have similar to all visitors AdWords. So if I click on similar to all visitors 30 days, these are audience segments that Google Ads is automatically going to build for you. And as you start creating some of your data segments, like website visitors, like some of your YouTube viewers, you're going to have more and more data about those people in those audiences. And if they are large enough audiences, what Google Ads is going to do is find similar people to the people who are visiting your website, watching your YouTube videos, similar to the people on your customer lists. So if we come over here to similar to all visitors and we just look at the size of the audience, 10K to 200K. So it's not a huge audience. And the way they describe it is automatically created expanded segment with interest similar to the people in all visitors of 30 days. So if I take my website visitors, all visitors of 30 days, let's see the size of this audience, 1K to 5.1K. So it's not a massive audience. And you see if we target it over here, our impressions are only 3.1 million available impressions. So that's a weekly estimate. So it's not a huge audience, but this will give you the best possible results because people who have already visited your website have already shown some level of interest, and they are much further down the funnel, as you would say, of buying something because they've been to your website, they've been researching what you have to offer. You retarget them with one of your messages, and this is the way to do it, is with website visitor audiences. Now, if you're wondering how to create your data segments and then the similar segments, what you need to do is go to Tools and Settings, and under Shared Library, you want to go to Audience Manager. So I'm going to open my Audience Manager here. And when you open your Audience Manager, it's automatically going to go to Segments, and it's going to show you your data segments. So you're going to see website visitors here, YouTube viewers. So as we come down and we keep coming down, you're going to see a custom combination segment. So this is a combined audience, YouTube and website retargeting. So what's going to happen is you're going to have all of these different segments that you can create, and you need to use your data sources. So I'm not going to go through how to connect some of these different data sources in this individual video, but you can watch some of my videos on my channel about remarketing and how to use website remarketing, YouTube retargeting. I'll link them in the video description so you can easily find them. So if we come in here, some of the different data sources I have linked my YouTube channel to my Google Ads account, so that will keep track of all the people who view my YouTube videos, subscribe to my channel, like videos, share videos. Basically anything anyone does to my YouTube channel, I can target them with advertisements. My Google Ads tag, which I implemented on my website with Google Tag Manager. So this keeps track of my hits over the last 24 hours, and I can create audiences based on this Google Ads tag because it's collecting information about people who are visiting my website. I have linked my Google Analytics 4 account to my website. I'm not actively using Firebase, but if you have a mobile app, you can link your app analytics, you can link Google Play. So you can link all of these different accounts to your Google Ads account, and it's going to allow you to target different audience segments with your campaigns. And these are going to be the top performing audience segments, again, because if somebody's already visited your website, they've shown some level of interest beyond the people who are just in some broad affinity audience or some in-market audience that Google Ads has automatically created. You can also link Zapier, which is a third-party platform, supports importing customer lists into Google Ads. And the other thing that you can do is if we come over here to segments, you click on the plus sign, you're going to see you can create website visitor audiences. So once you link some of those data sources and you click on website visitors, I can say I want to use the data from my Google Analytics 4 account and target people who have visited specific pages or who have added something to their cart. So when you click on the plus sign, you can create more segments here. App users, so people who have downloaded your mobile app, YouTube users. The other thing you can do is upload a customer list. So if we click on the plus sign to upload a customer list, the one thing you need to keep in mind, customer lists can only be used on the observation setting without bid adjustments and for exclusions. So the only way to actually target customer lists with your advertisements and to get similar audiences for customer lists is you need a Google Ads account with at least 90 days of history and no policy issues. And you also have to have over $50,000 in spend lifetime in your Google Ads account. So since I don't have that for this account, I can upload my emails, phones, mailing addresses, user IDs, mobile device IDs, upload customer data from data platforms. So you could do all of these different things here, but I can only use that customer list as an exclusion for my campaigns or in the observation setting with no bid adjustments to see how that customer list is performing for my different campaigns. So keep that in mind. If you are uploading a customer list, you do need to meet those requirements in order to target it with your advertisements. But what you can do is name your audience segment. They have a template here, so you can upload your CSV file, use their template, and it needs to comply with their formatting guidelines. So you upload that file, you can set a membership duration, you can write a description if you want to, upload and create. And then what Google Ads will do is take the information from your customer list to actually match people who are on the Google Display Network, Google Video Network, or who are searching for your keywords through the Google Search Network. So let's come back over to our display campaign, and that goes over your data in similar segments. So you need to connect some of those different data sources to your audience manager, to your Google Ads account, so that you can actually target YouTube users, website visitors, mobile app users, and some of your customer lists. And then similar segments will be created automatically as those audiences get larger and larger. Now you can also use custom combination segments. For example, I combined my 30-day all visitors list with people who have watched my YouTube videos, just as an example, so I can target that as a combined segment. So that goes over, coming back over here, some of your data in similar segments, and then combined segments, so you can create combined audiences. and add some of your different segments here. So if you come over to segments, it's going to pull up some of the ones that I've targeted recently. So all visitors over the last 30 days. I can target people who are in the market for home decor. I can target home decor enthusiasts. So you can target some of these different segments here: Affinity, in market, your website visitors, and then you can create a combined audience. So you click on create, and it will put every single audience into one large audience segment. Now, what we can do is I would say, okay, I want to reach people in this home decor in market segment. Narrow your segment. So what we're saying is they have to be in this home decor in market segment. And then if we come over here and we come over to detailed demographics, I can say, and their parental status, they are parents of toddlers 1 to 3 years old. So this is how you can combine some of these different audience. So before, when I was telling you that if you're using some of these different detailed demographics, it's going to target them all separately. So this is how you can combine some of them. So what you can do is say, I want someone in this home decor segment who's in market for home decor, and I want parents of toddlers who are 1 to 3 years old. Obviously, I wouldn't combine these two segments because they don't really make sense to combine. But what you could do is say, I want someone who's in the market for toys, who's also a parent of a toddler 1 to 3 years. So you're able to combine some of these different segments to create really a much more targeted audience. So this is how you can use some of these different combined segments. So coming back over here, that's combined audience segments. You can take some of these different options here as far as affinity audiences, detailed demographics, in market, and it's a great option if you are trying to reach people and you're trying to keep things really targeted with your advertisements. Now, last but not least, as far as targeting goes, is custom audience segments. So with custom segments, what you can do is click on the plus sign here to create a new custom segment. You can do this through the campaign creation process, or you can do it through your audience library. And what you can do is name your segment here, and then you have two different options. Include people with the following interests or behaviors. People with any of these interests or purchase intentions, or you could do people who search for any of these terms on Google. I personally prefer to do people who search for any of these terms on Google. And what you can do here is enter a bunch of different keywords that would be relevant to whatever it is you're promoting. So if I'm promoting beach decor, for example, I can say use a term like beach decor. I can say coastal decor. I can say nautical decor. And then they're going to come up with some different search term ideas as well. So you can find some of these different options here: nautical gifts, large nautical wall art. So I can enter all these different keywords. And what Google Ads is going to do is it's going to create an audience of people. You can see it's a very tight audience, 10 million to 50 million weekly impressions. It's not like a massive audience with 10 billion plus impressions. You're reaching people who have shown some level of interest in some of these different keywords, whether they've searched them directly in Google or they've searched very similar terms on Google. What Google Ads is going to do is use those terms as interests or purchase intentions. Now, if you come up here and you do people with any of these interests or purchase intentions, and we click up this at the top, you're going to see it's a similar amount of weekly impressions overall, but I would prefer to just use the people who search for any of these terms on Google, because it's going to try to find people who are closely trying to purchase some of these different products related to the keywords that they're entering. So if I'm trying to promote my beachfront decor website, maybe I have some type of sale going on, then what I can do is do people who search for any of these terms, enter a bunch of relevant terms based on what I'm promoting. You can enter your SEO keyword list here. You can enter some of your top search terms as far as your Google Ads campaigns. So you can enter all sorts of different keywords here, name your segment, and then target it with your advertisements. And where it really becomes useful is if I say beach Halloween keywords. So what I can do is try to find relevant Halloween keywords: nautical Halloween decor, coastal pumpkins, coastal Halloween decor. I have 50 million to 100 million impressions, people who are showing a large level of interest in beach Halloween decorations. So I can target that with my advertisements, send them a message related to beach Halloween decorations, send them to a landing page that's filled with beach Halloween decorations, and it's one of the best ways to target people based on what they're actually searching in Google. So if we click on done here, this is how you can target some of these different segments. And how I would go about this is the best performance is going to come from your data and similar segments. And then what you can do is use some of these custom segments, try to combine audience segments if you want to use some detailed demographics, if you want to incorporate some in-market audiences. If you're looking for more of a broad audience, so you're going for more brand awareness, you're going for more product consideration, that's where you want to use affinity audiences, detailed demographics, And you can even incorporate some of these and use them as combined segments as well. Now, once you have your audience segment set up here, you click on done and you go through the process of creating your campaign. I would highly recommend always using optimized targeting because it's going to use your landing page, it's going to use your assets, and it's going to allow you to find more people to drive conversions. And when you are creating a campaign, I would highly recommend creating a campaign with a sales or leads objective focused on your conversions so that you can get the most out of your campaign no matter who you're targeting. So if you have any questions about audience segments, again, you can find your audience manager right when you're creating a display campaign and just go directly to your audience manager, connect some sources, and you can start to actually target people who are visiting your website or watching your YouTube videos or interacting with your business in some way. So hopefully these all make sense. These are all the different audiences you have in Google Ads to target. And then when it comes to some of the different campaigns you can target, we're just going to come over to the Google Ads help screen. So with display campaigns, Affinity, custom segments, detailed demographics, life events, in-market, and your data segments. Now, search, you can target Affinity, detailed demographics, in-market, and your data segments. With search, what you can do is actually target, you're obviously targeting people who are searching specific keywords. So you can incorporate these audiences as well and choose to either target them or observe them. So if I choose to observe an affinity audience, all I'm saying is I want to see how this affinity audience performs for my targeted keywords. And then you can actually adjust bids up or down for your search campaigns for people who are in those audiences. So it can be very useful for in-market segments. It can be very useful for your data segments. You can, for example, increase your bids by 25% for somebody who has visited your website over the last 30 days. So keep that in mind as you're running search campaigns. You can incorporate your audience segments as well. And then what you can also do is say, I want to target people who are searching my keywords and make sure they have to be in this specific affinity audience. So you can do that as well for search campaigns if you want to keep things very, very targeted. That's one option that you have. Now for video, it's open up to pretty much everything as well. Affinity, custom segments, detailed demographics, in-market, and your data segments. So as you're running these different campaigns, just keep that in mind. You can incorporate all of these audiences and try to get the most out of your campaigns by finding the audience segments that perform the best for your business. If you have any questions about this, please leave them in the comment section. Thanks for watching my video today, and make sure you subscribe to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel.